Today, I'll reveal 5 signs a woman gives when she's truly into you. Not playing games, not pretending, truly deeply interested. When a woman is genuinely into you, one of the first and most telling signs is how her energy shifts in your presence. You might not even realize it at first, but she does. It's subtle, almost invisible if you're not paying attention, but it's there. It's in the way her tone softens when she speaks to you, the way her laughter becomes a little lighter, or how her body language unconsciously opens up when you're near. Energy doesn't lie, and when a woman feels something real, her entire aura starts to reflect it. She becomes more emotionally alert, more engaged, and more alive. You can feel it in the air, that quiet electricity that builds whenever the two of you are in the same space. It's not something you can force, and it's definitely not something she can fake. Her energy begins to communicate what her words haven't yet said, that she feels something deep. You'll notice that her usual behavior slightly transforms around you. Maybe she's usually composed and calm, but when you're around, there's a spark of nervous excitement in her. She might fidget with her hair, adjust her clothes, or glance at you when she thinks you're not looking. She might even seem more animated, more expressive than usual, as though your presence wakes up something inside her. For some women, this change appears as shyness. She becomes quieter, her words measured, her eyes more careful. For others, it's the opposite. She becomes talkative, playful, teasing, as if her comfort around you opens a door to a side of her that not everyone gets to see. Both versions mean the same thing. Her energy is reacting to you, not out of pressure or pretense, but because her emotions are stirring beneath the surface. When a woman likes someone, her awareness heightens. She notices the smallest details about you, your scent, your tone, your gestures, and her body unconsciously adjusts to that awareness. Her emotional radar tunes itself to your frequency, and without realizing it, she starts to respond to your energy in real time. If you're happy, she mirrors your joy. If you're quiet, she becomes gentler, almost as if she's trying to understand your silence. That's not coincidence. That's emotional synchronization, something that happens only when a woman is drawn to someone on a deeper level. She's not just responding to your words, she's responding to your presence, your vibe, the energy you carry. It's also in the way she prioritizes your attention. When she's into you, her focus subtly shifts. She becomes more present when you're speaking, even in a crowded room. You can catch her turning her body slightly toward you, leaning in without even realizing it, or positioning herself where she can be part of your space. These are not rehearsed behaviors. They come naturally as her emotions start to translate into nonverbal connection. You might even notice that when she's talking to others but you walk by, her tone lifts just a little, her face brightens, or she instinctively tries to make eye contact. Her energy gravitates toward you because attraction pulls her attention in your direction without permission. Another part of this shift is how emotionally open she becomes. A woman's energy is deeply tied to her emotional comfort, and when she's drawn to you, her guard starts to lower. You may notice her being more vulnerable, more expressive about her thoughts or feelings. She might start sharing stories she doesn't tell just anyone, or asking deeper questions about you, your mindset, your past. That openness isn't random. It's her energy reaching out, wanting to connect beyond the surface. Her laughter becomes warmer, her tone softer, her smile more frequent, because her subconscious wants to create emotional safety between you. This is her feminine energy in motion, flowing, receptive, and responsive to yours. When a woman's energy changes around you, it's an unspoken confession. She might still be figuring out her feelings, but her behavior already tells the truth her mind hasn't fully accepted yet. The emotional current between you begins to form naturally, not through words, but through chemistry, through that invisible pull that draws her closer every time you're near. It's not just about physical attraction, it's the emotional awareness that says, I feel something different with you. That's what makes her energy shift, because no matter how well she hides it, the heart always speaks through the energy it radiates. When a woman starts developing genuine feelings for someone, she often doesn't express it directly. Instead, she begins to build small, meaningful bridges between you and her. These bridges may appear insignificant to the untrained eye, but they carry emotional weight. You might notice her reaching out to you for reasons that seem casual, a text about something random, a comment on your post, or even a quick message to ask how your day is going. But underneath those small gestures lies a deeper intention. She's creating subtle ways to stay connected to you. These are her quiet invitations for emotional closeness, her way of saying, I want to be part of your world. For most women, these small initiations are not about seeking attention. They're about testing emotional comfort, gauging whether the space between you feels safe, natural, and reciprocal. She might not send long, dramatic texts or constantly demand your time. That's not her goal. Instead, she'll find simple ways to keep the connection alive without making it feel forced. She might send you a meme that reminds her of you, reply to your story with something playful, or share a song that she thought you'd like. These gestures seem innocent, but they're layered with meaning. It's her way of maintaining a presence in your day, of reminding you she exists without intruding on your space. When a woman is into you, she'll look for reasons to communicate, not to fill silence, but to build subtle continuity. It's in those small connections that she starts to feel emotionally anchored. And it's also how she hopes you'll begin to see her as someone who consistently adds lightness and comfort to your world. Sometimes she might create opportunities to connect in person too. Maybe she asks a casual question that leads to a longer conversation, or she mentions something she needs help with, just so she has a reason to reach out. She might even bring up topics that open space for deeper discussion. Not because she's trying to impress you, but because she wants to understand you. These small initiations are signs of emotional curiosity. She wants to know how you think, how you feel, what drives you. And every time she reaches out, even in the smallest ways, she's investing a little piece of her emotional energy into that bond. It's a quiet form of pursuit, one that doesn't scream for attention, but whispers for connection. What's fascinating is that many men mistake these small actions as random friendliness, when in reality, they're deliberate acts of emotional engagement. A woman who's not interested won't put in that effort. She won't check in to see how your meeting went or remember small details about your week, but the one who's into you will. She'll remember things you told her in passing, your favorite coffee, a challenge you mentioned, or something that made you smile, and she'll bring them up later, effortlessly, as if she's been paying attention all along. That's how women connect emotionally, through details, through remembrance, through the feeling of being attuned to you. Her consistency might be subtle, but it's steady, and that steadiness is what reveals her true interest. Her small connections also come through emotional presence. When she's into you, she'll show up. Not always physically, but emotionally. She'll check on you when you seem distant or send something uplifting when you've had a hard day. She'll make time, even if it's just a few minutes, to respond with intention. She does this because she values how she makes you feel, and more importantly, how you make her feel when that connection flows back. Women often express affection through nurturing energy, not grand romantic gestures, but small, consistent acts that say, I care. Those acts are her way of building emotional trust, of seeing whether you notice her effort, whether you meet it halfway. Over time, these little interactions start forming a pattern. A message here, a small favor there, a conversation that lingers longer than expected. All of these create a rhythm between you. It's not rushed, it's not dramatic, but it's real. It's in these quiet, unspoken efforts that you can sense her heart opening a little more each time. And even though she might not voice it directly, her actions keep telling the same story. She's drawn to you, she thinks about you, and she's finding every gentle, natural way to stay connected. They say the eyes are the window to the soul, and when a woman is truly into you, her eyes often tell the story long before her words ever do. There's a language in the way she looks at you, a quiet conversation happening in the silence between glances. When she likes you, her eyes carry a softness that can't be rehearsed. It's not about staring or obvious flirting. It's about those fleeting moments where her gaze lingers a second longer than it should, where her pupils widen slightly when she meets your eyes, or where she looks away too quickly as if caught revealing something she wasn't ready to admit. That's where her emotions live, in the space between attention and hesitation. Her eyes become a mirror of her inner world, revealing the tenderness, curiosity, and warmth she may still be too guarded to express out loud. You'll notice that when you talk to her, she doesn't just look at you, she listens with her eyes. They stay on you longer than necessary, tracing your expressions, observing your reactions, memorizing your details. She might be listening to your words, but she's also studying you, not in a judgmental way, but in an instinctive, fascinated way. Her gaze will often soften when you share something personal, almost as if she's silently telling you she understands, that she's emotionally present with you. Sometimes when she's laughing, her eyes won't just sparkle with amusement. They'll lock onto yours in a way that makes the moment feel private, even if others are around. That's the power of emotional connection through the eyes. It isolates you both in your own unspoken world for just a second, a space where attraction and sincerity silently meet. At times, she might try to avoid direct eye contact altogether, especially if she's shy or trying to hide what she feels. But even in avoidance, there's truth. A woman who feels nothing will look at you with ease, detached, unbothered, casual. But the one who feels something will have moments of hesitation, as if she's afraid her gaze might expose her emotions. You might catch her glancing at you when she thinks you're not looking, and then quickly looking away when your eyes meet. That's not disinterest, that's vulnerability. Her eyes betray the emotions she's not ready to confess. They reveal nervousness, admiration, and a silent fear of being too transparent. And that very tension between wanting to look and needing to look away is one of the clearest indicators that her feelings for you run deeper than she's letting on. Sometimes her eyes will carry an intensity that words can't match. It's a look that feels almost magnetic, like she's drawn to you, trying to understand you beyond the surface. You can feel the emotional current in that gaze. It's heavy with meaning, with awareness, with something she doesn't fully have control over. When she looks at you that way, it's not just physical attraction, it's emotional recognition. It's as if her heart knows something her mind is still processing. That's why even short eye contact can feel so profound. It's not about the duration, but the energy exchanged in that instant. Her eyes speak in emotions, in curiosity when she listens, in warmth when she smiles, in silence when words fail. And if you're observant enough, you'll see how her eyes change depending on the moment. When she's around you, they light up differently. There's a glow, a vibrancy, a flicker of excitement that doesn't appear with others. She may not even realize it herself, but her gaze becomes more alive, more focused, more emotionally charged. It's the body's honest reaction to emotional chemistry. She might lean in slightly when your eyes meet, or her expression might soften when you hold her gaze. Even her blinking pattern might change. People blink less when they're deeply interested or emotionally connected because they're subconsciously trying not to break the moment. These little details reveal everything her words are hiding. What's most beautiful is that her eyes won't just reflect attraction, they'll reflect emotion. You'll see care in them when you talk about something that hurt you, pride when you share your achievements, and comfort when you're feeling low. Her eyes will mirror your emotions because she's emotionally invested. They become her way of speaking when she's silent, her way of showing affection without saying a single word. Every glance, every lingering look, every shy avoidance becomes part of the story her heart is quietly telling through her eyes. One of the most fascinating and subconscious signs that a woman is into you is when she begins to mirror your emotions without even realizing it. It's a psychological and emotional response that happens naturally when two people form a deep connection. When she starts reflecting your tone, gestures, or even your emotional states, it's not imitation, it's resonance. Her mind and heart are syncing with yours, aligning themselves to your emotional rhythm. This happens because attraction, especially emotional attraction, isn't logical, it's instinctive. When a woman genuinely likes someone, her subconscious begins to adapt to that person's emotional energy. You'll notice it in the smallest moments, the way she laughs when you laugh, the way her expression softens when you're serious, or the way she becomes calm when you are. It's an emotional harmony that speaks louder than words ever could. You might catch her mirroring your physical behavior too. For example, if you cross your arms, she might do the same a few seconds later without realizing it. If you lean forward while talking, she might unconsciously lean in too. These small synchronized actions are not rehearsed. They're the body's natural way of creating rapport and connection. The human brain has something called mirror neurons, which activate when we observe someone we feel emotionally drawn to. They make us imitate the behaviors of those we're connected to as a form of emotional empathy. So, when she mirrors your emotions or gestures, it's her brain's way of saying, I feel safe with you, I'm attuned to you. It's not about mimicry, it's about emotional alignment. This mirroring also shows up in how she responds to your moods. When you're excited about something, she seems to match that enthusiasm effortlessly. When you're upset or frustrated, she becomes gentler, more attentive, almost instinctively wanting to restore balance to your emotions. It's like she's emotionally tuned in to your frequency, feeling what you feel, reacting as if your inner world somehow affects hers. This isn't something she plans or controls. It's something that happens because she's emotionally invested. Her energy begins to flow in rhythm with yours, creating a sense of emotional safety and mutual understanding that's hard to find with just anyone. You might notice that your conversations start feeling effortless. She finishes your thoughts, laughs at your timing, or reacts to your feelings before you even explain them. That's not coincidence. It's emotional synchronization born from attraction. Even in group settings, you might notice her mirroring behavior stand out. She responds to your jokes faster, pays more attention when you speak, or adjusts her posture toward you even when someone else is talking. Her body language reveals that her attention is drawn toward your emotional state more than anyone else's. If you become quiet, she notices. If you seem distracted, she subtly adjusts her tone to re-engage you. It's almost as if she's emotionally scanning you, adapting her energy to maintain connection. That's what happens when a woman feels something real. Her emotions unconsciously revolve around the energy you bring into the space. She wants to stay in emotional sync with you because that's where she feels the pull, that unspoken chemistry that doesn't need to be explained. Over time, this mirroring becomes deeper than just gestures or moods. It becomes emotional empathy. She starts to understand you without needing detailed explanations. She senses when something's off, even if you don't say a word. Her reactions become intuitive, not logical responses, but instinctive ones. She starts sharing your emotional highs and lows almost as if they're her own. That's because emotional attraction isn't about liking someone superficially. It's about feeling connected to their emotional essence. When she begins to mirror your emotions unknowingly, it means your energy has entered her awareness in a powerful way. You're no longer just someone she talks to. You've become someone whose presence influences how she feels, how she reacts, and how she expresses herself. The beauty of this unspoken mirroring is that it reveals a woman's emotional vulnerability. When she unconsciously reflects your emotions, she's allowing herself to be influenced by your presence. That level of openness doesn't come from casual interest. It comes from trust, comfort, and genuine emotional pull. It's a silent form of bonding that says more than any confession ever could. You can feel it in the way she moves, the way she listens, the way her emotions shift with yours, as if her heart has begun to move in rhythm with yours, even when no one else notices. When a woman is truly into you, one of the clearest and most meaningful signs is her desire to understand you on a deeper level. She doesn't just want to know what you do or what your favorite things are. She wants to understand who you are beneath the surface. Her curiosity becomes personal, genuine, and consistent. It's not driven by nosiness, but by emotional connection. She begins to notice the small things you say, the tone in which you say them, and the emotions behind your words. She asks questions not just to keep the conversation going, but because she wants to step inside your world, to see what shapes you, what drives you, and what you dream of. When a woman feels something real, she becomes drawn to your inner life, your thoughts, your values, your fears, your principles, because that's where emotional intimacy begins to form. You'll notice that her questions go beyond the surface. Instead of asking simple things like, "What do you do?" she'll ask, "Do you enjoy what you do?" Or "What made you choose that path?" That shift in depth shows emotional investment. She's not looking for small talk. She's searching for meaning. She wants to know what makes you think, what inspires you, and what keeps you awake at night. Her curiosity often comes wrapped in warmth. She listens attentively, remembers your answers, and builds on them in later conversations. When she recalls something you told her weeks ago, it's not by accident. It's because she values every layer of who you are. It's her way of saying, "You're not just someone I talk to, you're someone I'm trying to understand." Sometimes this desire to know you shows up in how she listens. She doesn't just wait for her turn to speak. She pays attention. You'll notice her eyes stay on you when you talk, her body slightly angled in your direction, her expression changing with your words. When you talk about your struggles, she becomes empathetic. When you share your goals, her eyes light up with genuine excitement. Her emotional engagement reveals her interest. It's not about interrogation, it's about connection. Through every conversation, she's quietly building an emotional map of who you are, your history, your patterns, your beliefs. And with every new piece she learns, her attachment grows stronger. She also starts observing your behavior, not to judge, but to understand. She notices how you react when you're stressed, how you handle disappointment, or how you treat people around you. She might not say it out loud, but she's taking mental notes, trying to understand your emotional rhythm. For her, these observations are important because they tell her what kind of man you truly are. When a woman likes someone deeply, she doesn't fall for the surface image. She falls for the emotional truth underneath. She studies how your mind works, how your emotions shift, and how your values guide you. It's her way of emotionally aligning herself with you, of knowing whether your souls move in the same direction. You might also notice her trying to involve herself in the things that matter to you. If you're passionate about something, she'll want to learn more about it, not to impress you, but to feel closer to you through what you love. She might start asking about your hobbies, your work, or even your past experiences, just to understand how they shaped you. This is how women connect emotionally, through understanding and empathy. She's not only listening to your words, she's listening to the emotions behind them, the quiet pauses, the hidden meanings. She wants to know how you see the world, what makes you hopeful, and what makes you hesitant. That emotional curiosity is the purest form of affection, the desire to see someone fully and accept them as they are. Over time, this depth of interest becomes unmistakable. She starts to anticipate your thoughts, finishes your sentences, or understands your mood without you having to explain. She might sense when something's bothering you or when you're holding back, and she'll gently ask what's wrong. That level of intuition doesn't happen with just anyone. It comes from paying attention, from genuinely caring enough to study you on an emotional level. When she tries to know you deeply, it's not about control or curiosity. It's about connection. She wants to feel close to your mind, your emotions, and your truth. She's not just falling for the version of you that the world sees. She's falling for the version that only she gets to discover when you finally let your guard down. When a woman is truly into you, there comes a point when her affection begins to show not just in her excitement or curiosity, but in her softness, that quiet, nurturing energy that she can't hide when she cares deeply. This softness isn't weakness. It's her emotional instinct revealing itself. It's the side of her that wants to make sure you're okay, the side that becomes a little more attentive to your comfort, your peace, and your well-being. You'll start noticing that her tone changes when she speaks to you. There's more warmth in her words, more patience in the way she listens. Even when she's teasing or playful, there's a gentleness underneath, a layer of emotional care that says she doesn't just like you, she's emotionally invested in you. A woman's protective softness appears when her heart starts to feel safe enough to express care without fear of being misunderstood. You might notice this shift in the way she reacts to your struggles or discomfort. If you're tired, she'll tell you to rest. If you're stressed, she'll want to ease your burden somehow. It could be as simple as her sending you a kind message, reminding you to eat, or listening to you vent after a long day. But behind those small gestures lies something much deeper, her instinct to protect your peace. She might not say it outright, but her actions begin to show a quiet kind of protectiveness. It's not possessive, it's compassionate. When a woman truly likes someone, she naturally begins to care about his emotional and mental state. Your happiness starts to matter to her, not out of obligation, but out of genuine connection. She wants to be the place you can exhale, the space where you don't have to pretend to be strong all the time. Her softness also appears in how she handles your imperfections. When she's emotionally invested, she becomes more understanding, more forgiving, more patient. She doesn't jump to criticize. She tries to understand where you're coming from. If you make a mistake or say something wrong, she looks past the surface reaction and tries to read the emotion behind it. That's her protective nature. It's not about defending you blindly, but about offering emotional safety. safety. She might even start standing up for you in subtle ways, whether it's in conversation or in how she defends your absence when someone questions you. It's in those small, almost invisible actions that her emotional loyalty shows. She doesn't just care when it's easy to care, she cares when it's hard. And that is what makes her softness so powerful. It's steady, unconditional, and sincere. You'll also feel this softness in the way she looks at you. There's a certain tenderness in her gaze, the kind that doesn't demand or expect anything. It simply gives. It's a look that says she sees your flaws, but still chooses to stay emotionally present. When she's around you, her energy becomes calmer, more grounding. She'll adjust her tone if she senses you're upset. She'll choose her words carefully if she feels you're stressed. Even the way she touches you, a light pat on the arm, a reassuring gesture, a small act of affection carries the weight of that protective instinct. It's her way of silently saying, you don't have to carry everything alone.